So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to MS Excel class, and probably in this class we'll do the revision of the concept which I already mentioned you during my class. So probably if you want to ask any question in between, you can ask by using the chat option. And let's start from the beginning. Like probably when I asked you how you can open an MS Excel workbook, so you can do right click on your mouse, you go to new, under new you can find MS Excel workbook. If you click here, then what will happen? There's a template of MS Excel workbook that will be created on your desktop, and by going inside that you can open a workbook and then you can save it. That is a one way to open that. Other way to open the workbook, you can go to window, press window, and under window you can see office, under office you can see Excel, or you can go down, you can go down to where you can find Excel. You can go there, click on Excel. If you click on Excel here, then probably you can open a workbook. You can do like that, or otherwise you go to control panel. Under control panel you can find run, and under run you can type Excel and then you can open an Excel workbook. The shortcut key for that is window R, and under that if you write Excel you press OK, and then you'll get in window where you can see there's a workbook which is opened. If you see this workbook, if you see this workbook, this probably you can see this workbook is of black in color. You can see the outside boundary of this workbook is black in color. You can change the environment the way you want to like. For that you need to go to file. You can go to file. Under file you can go to options. Under options, if you see office theme, you can see under general, you can see this office theme as black. So you can change this office theme to anything. So whichever you want, you can press OK. And if I press OK, you can see this office theme got changed. Okay, so again I can go to options. Again I can go to options. If I go to options, you can see like by default, whenever I'm opening this workbook, you can see four sheets are opening in mine. If you're using any version of Excel, probably after 2007, in 2007 three worksheet used to open under the workbook. After that you find always one worksheet opening. You can increase the number of worksheet either manually by clicking on plus sign, or you can go here include this many worksheet. You can increase or decrease, and that you can do to probably increase or decrease the worksheet whenever you are working on Excel, and you can use that to probably depends on you, depending on when you are working on an office domain, probably how many worksheets you require within the workbook. You can decide and gradually you can do that. Otherwise, you can use this plus sign. If you use this plus sign, by using this plus sign, you can open as many worksheet as you want. Okay, and then you can rename this worksheet. Once you open, you can rename this worksheet. You can go there, double click, and you can write any name there. So that way you can rename it, or otherwise you can do right click, and here you can see an option called rename. So if you click on rename, so if you click on rename, there you can go and rename this. So anyway you can rename this. Now in order to go from one worksheet to another worksheet, like in right hand side, from left to right, if you want to go from one worksheet to the other worksheet, you can use control page up or control page down. So if I use here control, if I use control, if I use control page down, like if I can use here control page up, 1 minute. So so yeah, so if I use here control, this is not work. Yeah, so if 1 minute in my laptop, there's another control page up or control page down you can use here to use this. Yeah. So in mine is control function. It's working control function. It depends from different system. The ideal key is control page up, control page down. While it varies from laptop to laptop. In my laptop, I need to use control function page down to go from left to right. while I need to use control function page up to go from right to left. So you know this part. So you can see this. You can see it down. I'm going from left to right or right to left. So this part we can do in Excel. So you do manually, either you can move from one sheet to another sheet, or what you can use control page up, or you can use control page down. Okay, everyone. So now when you see this Excel environment, when you see this Excel environment at the top, what you see, this is called quick access toolbar. At the top, what we can see, this is called quick access toolbar. This quick access toolbar is basically the set of commands which you require when you're working on Excel. So when you are working on an Excel, and certain commands which you need on frequent basis, so manually, what you can do, you can put them at the array at the top on your workbook. So that you can do, and probably that will help you to save your time. So this is quick access toolbar. You want to add more command, you want to customize it, whatever you want, you can do that. Go to more command and you can see quick access toolbar. Whichever command you feel is important to you, you can add them. You can add them depending upon whatever you feel is relevant to you. And if you feel something is not relevant to you, you can remove them from the quick access toolbar. So you can do this. So either quick access toolbar, you can operate from here by going to more command, or you go to file, under file you go to more, under more you go to options, under options you can see quick access toolbar. When you see this quick access toolbar, you can do the same work here. So this is like at the top, what you see is called quick access toolbar. After that, what you see is called tabs. You can see you have file, you have home, you have insert, you have draw, page layout, formula, data, reviewed, view, developer, help. So help is there. So the shortcut key of help is F1. So if you use F1, if you use F1, you can get a help command. So the shortcut key for help is F1. You can do that, and then while going under the help, you can probably get an idea of, like, in case when you're working in Excel and if you are confused, you can take the help of help. This developer tab will not be visible in many time when you are working on Excel. So probably this developer tab will not be visible in the beginning. So for that, you need to go to file, and under file, if you go to options, and under options, if you go to customize ribbon, under customize ribbon you have to tick the developer tab. If the developer tab is not ticked, then it will not be visible. So many times when you're working on Excel, you may not find developer tab visible. Okay, so you can tick that, because more or less when you're working on Excel, we find home, insert, page layout, formula, data, review, view, those tabs are commonly visible, but developer tab many times are not visible. So in case if it's not visible, you can make it visible from customized ribbon, if you're using the older version of Excel, then that developer tab you can find, I think, on general, and under that, under the, when you go to options, under that, the first, whatever the first set of, you can see the command there, you can see the developer tab. It will help you there. Okay, fine. Any doubt, anyone? Fine. So basically, when you see this developer tab, so under developer tab, we can go, and we can actually record in macro. We can write a programming. So that will come under the next level of preparation on MS Excel, where we'll go under the developer tab, and under developer tab, we'll go to Visual Basics, and there we can write, and probably uh, we can write a program. So which sheet you want to write a program, you can select from there, and then every program in Excel, whatever program you write, every program start with sub. Okay, so sub, so any name you can give. So sub, any name I can say, anything. I can give a name called sub donkey. So you give a name. The name should like when you're using the sub command. So you can write sub equal to. You can give a file name and bracket close bracket and you press enter. So when you press enter, if you see below space and sub written means whatever you're doing is correct. Then I can simply very simple program. So then I can write a small program in message box. I can write your message that hello everyone to the MS Excel class. Hello everyone. Hello everyone to MS Excel class. Okay, so it should start with double quote. It should end with double quote. Once your program is being written, you can press F5 or you can see this triangular green color button. So if you click on that, if you can click on that, you can see this message box popping up, which says that hello everyone to the MS Excel class. So just like this, this is one of the very basic part of program what you can write in Visual Basic. Like that, another program like sub donkey one open bracket close bracket. Then I can write MSG message box date, and then I can write MSG message box time. So I can write message box date, message box time. If I run this program, it will show me the date, today date. It will show me that right now time, what is that time. Like this, we can write a program under a Visual Basic. So the the to open when we talk about Visual Basic, like uh, when we are working on Visual Basic, so so you can go, the shortcut key to go into Visual Basic is Alt F11. You can use Alt F11. So if you use Alt F11, you can go into Visual Basic. You if you want to go out of Visual Basic, you can again press Alt F11. Okay, so when you open the workbook at the top, you can see is called Quick Access Toolbar. Below that, you can see tabs. So you can see these tabs. If you want, you can customize tab also here. For that, go to Options under File. Go to Options. When you go under Options, go to Customize ribbon, and under Customize ribbon, if you click on New tab, if you click on New tab, under New tab, when you go under New tab, you click on this New tab, and if you rename this, so I can rename this to any name. I rename this maybe I can rename this with a name called suppose Amit Singh. So I can rename this display name as an Amit Singh. So display name as an Amit Singh. So this way I can rename this. Then under that I can go to new group. Okay, under new group I can go there, and again I can rename this group. So like you remember, no, under tabs what you see, we call them as a group. So you can create a group. So I can create a group like suppose finance. I created a group called suppose finance. Okay, so display name finance. Then again I can create one more group. So under tabs you have group. So under this tab called Amit Singh, I created one group called finance. Like that, I can create another group called I can create another group called marketing. I can create another group called marketing, and I can press OK. So like this, I under the finance tab, I created this group finance. I created this group marketing. Okay, so yeah, so I was where I was basically I was talking under options. So under options, I was talking about like yeah, it went away. So I created this tab called Amit Singh. Okay, I'll quickly do this. I created this tab called Amit Singh, and under Amit Singh, I created this group. Okay, I created this group called finance. I created this group called finance. Like this, I created one more group. I created one more group. Okay, I created one more group called marketing. I created one more group called marketing. So I created this group finance marketing. Now under finance, I put uh, this like I put these commands like conditional formatting, then delete column, then font color, whatever I put them under insert function. Many groups I put them like under marketing. I created calculate now. I created decrease font size and then pivot table, all that. So you can put as many command as you want. Press OK. After that, if you press OK, then you can see this tab called Amit Singh, and Singh you can see this group being visible. Okay, so you can see this like this purpose of doing this right now. You may not find this very interesting, but tomorrow when you work in corporate and imagine you have only one tab. Okay, I'll go under file and I'll go under file and I'll go under options. Under options, if I go to customize ribbon and here if I untick all, imagine if I untick all, suppose I'm just dummy I'm doing, suppose if I untick all, okay, I untick all because whatever I require in my Excel, suppose whatever I require in my Excel, everything is there under this Amit Singh only. So tomorrow when I'm working on Excel, you imagine there's only one tab is there, my name. Suppose there's only one tab is there in Excel of my name, and set of all commands are there require for my day-to-day working. So why should I care about what is there under home, what is there under insert, what is there under page layout? Right now, that is not my concern because whatever I am looking for, that is visible, that is there under Amit Singh. Okay, so then imagine this look much more better than the usual way of working on Excel. So I hope you are getting the logic. So insert function, you can insert function is something which is very important when you work on Excel. The shortcut key of insert function is Shift F3. If you go to Shift F3, that is the shortcut key of insert function. Okay, so you can use insert function. Okay, so under insert function you can do that. Okay, so we'll talk about in later on. So right now, just let me just revise this. So customize ribbon and just reset all customization. Whatever we did, just remove that, and then I press OK. So now everything we got back to the normal. So you can see this file, you can see this home, you can see this insert, draw, page layout, formula, view, review, you can see them while working on Excel. Uh, and under these tabs, you can see lot of groups are there. You can find lot of groups under the under the tab. You can while working on that, we may require them. Then few commands which not be visible for you in beginning, you can find them if you go into under add-ins and if you can add them. Probably that will not be visible in beginning, but depending upon the your working part, you can go to add-ins. Under that you can go to manage, you can go to go under that. If you So if you go there, you can click on this analysis tool pack or analysis tool pack VBA, then solver add-in. So solver add-in, when you work on solver add-in, I have taught you about the application of solver add-in. So solver add-in normally we use when we work on operation research, when we are trying to solve LPP problem, then probably we use solver add-in. Okay, and when we talk about data analysis is something which is purely statistical in nature. So when we work on statistics, under statistics, if you do test of hypothesis, so under test of hypothesis, we need to work on different tools like ANOVA, chi-square, z-test, t-test. All that is very important. So there, this data analysis come in picture. Probably for you people in your first semester, you don't have statistics. Even then, you don't have statistics. Make sure that you go through this. I'll develop couple of video for you people, and I'll send you. Maybe if you need to study, if you're really interested for this, you can go through them. You can work on data analysis part for yourself, and this way or that way it would be helpful for you. So I believe so. So statistics is very important, guys. I think you have heard of data science, machine learning. All this is actually derived from statistics. So you cannot escape yourself from statistics. Fine. So this data analysis solver, if you want to go, if you that will not be visible, you need to add them. So for that, you need to go to options. Under options, when you go, you need to go to add-ins. Under add-ins, when you go under add-in, you need to go to manage Excel add-ins. Click on go, and there you need to tick them and press OK, and then this will open. Fine, everyone. Fine. So we have discussed about that. Now we have solved also problem based on the solver option. So solver option we have done this. So you can see this. If I want to solve this problem by using solver. So if I want to solve this problem by using solver, imagine this problem I want to solve. Okay, which is visible. Yeah, Padma. Okay, no, Padma, I have muted everyone. So if you want to unmute yourself, you can let me know. I'll unmute you. So you cannot do from your end. So like suppose this is the problem I want to solve. So problem like if you in your class if you're going through LPP problem, if you've done Big M method, I don't know, phase method, whatever you studied in LPP, like to solve the problem by using graphical method, or you have learned to solve the problem by simplex method. So they each method have their own like what you say constraints when you're working on. Each method have their own constraints. So like you so the best way if you want to get the answer for the given situation would be to use the solver in MS Excel. Now what I can do here, I have my decision variables. So my decision variables, you can see this, the decision variables what I have my decision variables x1 and x2. Here the two decision variables are there, x1 and x2. You can put any value to them, doesn't matter. You put any value to them. So it doesn't matter. You simply put some dummy value to it. Okay, so you remember we talked about goal seek. Similar to this, we have done in goal seek also. Goal seek solver is the advanced form of goal seek. So here doesn't matter what value you put some dummy value for x1 and x2. Okay, and then this is your objective function. This is your objective function. This is your objective function. So so this is your objective function. So what is your objective function, right? Anything, any mathematical thing, if you do in Excel, you have to do with equal to sign. Here you put equal to sign. So you write objective function is, you have to minimize that minima of z. So that is equal to 20x1. So into shift 8. So 20x1, this is 20x1 plus 10x2, 20x1 plus 10x2. So 20x1 plus 10x2. You can go there. So that is your z, that is your objective function. So you press OK. So you got this objective function. So that is minima of z. That is minima of z. Minima of z is equal to, this is 20x1 plus 10x2. This is your objective function. Okay, this is your objective function, 20x1 plus 10x2. That was your objective function. That is your minima of z. Okay, so you can put this here. Now, what is your constraint 1? So, constraint 1, your constraint 1, what is your constraint 1? You can see three constraints are there. One is x1 plus 2x2 should be less than or equal to 40. So this is your x1 plus 2x2, x1 plus 2x2 x1 plus 2x2. Okay, this is first constraint, x1 plus 2x2. This should be less than or equal to 40. This is your first constraint. Okay, then you put here any value. Okay, so please understand, here you can put any value, doesn't matter what value you put. Okay, everyone. Okay, so don't go with that value. That value anyway will change at the end. What is your constraint 2? Constraint 2 is 3 into x1, 3 into x1, 3 into x1 plus x2, 3 into x1 plus x2. Okay, that should be greater than or equal to 3. That should be greater than or equal to, sorry, not 330. That should be greater than equal to 30. This I put as constraint 2. What is my constraint 3? Constraint 3 is 4 into x1. Constraint 3 is 4 into x1 plus 3 into x2 plus 3 into x2, 4 into x1 plus 3 into x2. That should be greater than or equal to 60. Okay, so these are the three constraints what I put, and always when we use always when you we solve problem in operation research, put something called non-negativity restriction. So we have to put something called non-negativity restriction. These are what your constraints. So these were your constraints. Let me do merge and center. So these were your constraints. Okay, so these were your constraint, constraint 1, constraint 2, constraint 3, and now I'll put non-negativity restriction, non-negativity, non-negativity restriction, non-negativity restriction, non-negativity restriction. So non-negativity restriction I'm putting. So non-negativity restriction. So non-negativity restriction. You know how to manage this, no? You remember, no? This increase font size, decrease font size, you can do that. So what is your non-negative restriction? That your x1, whatever is your x1, this x1 should be greater than or equal to 0, and whatever is your x2, whatever is your x2, that should be greater than or equal to 0. You this all you do in operation research. I hope you still remember this all you do. You can solve this problem by graphical method anyway, because two variables are there. You can use graphical method, two variables are there. Okay, and or you can use solver by creating a table, and then you dummy variable, slack variable, surplus variable you can introduce in the table. You remember, right? Or your teacher used to teach you. So you can use them, and ultimately once this building form of the equation is done, so what you can do, you can go to data, under data go to solver. What would be the shortcut key? The shortcut key for that, what would be shortcut key? I don't know. Frankly speaking, I don't know what is shortcut key. So simply I just press Alt. If I press Alt, what is the shortcut key for data? A. I'll go under A. What is the solve? You can see solver that is visible Y3. So I go to Y3. Now you can see some calculation is done. So just do reset all. If you do reset all, everything now become clean. Okay, so then set the objective. What is your objective function? Set the objective, click here and go to the cursor where your objective function is there. Okay, set objective, and then you click here, and then here to what minima, maxima, or value of. So this is to minima. You want to minimize the value. Okay. So I hope you are understanding. Set objective, then to value minima by changing variable cells. Which cells to change? So which cells to change? So one by one, manually you need to put your which cell to change. You can put your decision variable. So these two cells to change. You select them. These are your decision variable. Well, ultimately, this should change. Ultimately, when this will change, or everything will change. I hope you are getting the logic. So which cells to change? X1 and X2. These two cells are to be changed. X1 and X2. These two cells to be changed. So I click on X1 and X2. Okay, and then I click there. So these are your decision variable. Okay, everyone. So subject to constraint. So constraint you have to add. Click on add. Click on add. Cell cell reference. So what is the cell? This is a cell reference. Okay, G6. This is like by default it will come less than or equal to. So you can write manually your constraint 40. Or if you want, you can go to the cell where 40 is written. Suppose here 40 is written there. Okay, or you can write here manually 40. Okay, everyone. So you can write this G6, whatever the value you get, that should be less than or equal to 40. Then click on add. Then again, constraint to. Okay, so here you can see greater than or equal to. So you click on greater than or equal to. Okay, and then second constraint is 30. Okay, then you can go to add, and then you have constraint 3. Okay, and there you can use greater than or equal to, you can use 60. You can use greater than or equal to 60. Okay, so I hope you are getting the logic. One by one you have to put all your constraint. One by one gradually you have to put your constraint. Okay, less than, greater than, all sign you have to use. Click on add. Okay, then non-negative restriction. Okay, so x1 that should be greater than or equal to 0, because that is non-negative restriction. Okay, then again x2, where is x2 is there. Okay, that is again greater than or equal to 0, and then you press OK. So all these are done. Now after this, if you click on solve, you will get the answer. Clear, everyone? Now after this, you just need to click on solve. Okay, so after this, I hope everyone is understanding. Anyone want to ask any question, please ask me. So you just click on solve. If you clicked on, you press OK. If you press OK, you can see you got the answer. You, so it's like somewhat, if you remember we did that goal six. So here you need to put dummy value, and then ultimately this will solve. So you must be referring some textbook on operation research. You can write the problem. You want to confirm that problem. Maybe if you see previous year question paper, if you have previous year question paper, you can solve from there. Okay, and that way it will helpful for you. So you can do that part. Okay, so you don't have to do manual work. You imagine if you saw your previous year question paper and you're trying to solve it by simplex method. I believe you have studied simplex method or two-phase method or begin method, and you're trying to solve and you may be confused. You're not sure the answer what you get is correct or wrong. So put everything in Excel and do it like this so you'll get the answer. I hope this part is clear with everyone. So you can use a solver in Excel to solve any problem where that involve the calculation based on LPP. So you can do this. This part can be done. Just make a border here. I can make a border under home. I can go here. Take outside border. I can do. I can put all border here. So that part you can simply make it look better. So you can make border everywhere. So you want to change their font, you can change their font color, everything. This all the simply kind of practice to the concept what we understood. Begin method, Tejaswini, I hope You know the logic, like Bigem method. Have you studied Bigem method? So what do you have doubt on Bigem method? If you have doubt on Bigem method, I'll make a video on that and I'll put it there. You Bigem method in Excel, then Tejaswini, you have to understand that Bigem method, why we use Bigem method. Normally, we use Bigem method in Excel when you have inequality sign. Like normally when we use a slack variable, we use slack variable, if you remember simplex method. Bigem method is an what you say, it's a application of a simplex method when where your inequality sign in the constraint is more than or equal to. So because you cannot introduce negative slack variable. Okay, so because you cannot introduce a negative slack variable there, so we use surplus variable in the constraint, but those surplus variable cannot become the part of the iteration table. So what we do whenever we have those surplus variable, so along with surplus variable, we use artificial variable in our constraint, and those artificial variable what we are introducing in our constraint, we put them under the objective function with m represent very big value so that they should not affect our solution. So in Excel, if you're solving by using solver, you don't require any big M, you don't require any simplex. You can see here this constraint, constraint number 2. You can see this constraint. This constraint is greater than equal to. Same problem, no? If I ask you, in if I ask you this problem, imagine if I'm taking operation research class for you, okay, and in your college, and if I have to do this problem, so this is actually a bigger method problem only. This is actually bigger method problem only, because here slack variable and surplus variable both I have to use together. If you see your constraint, you have less than or equal to constraint also, and you have greater than or equal to constraint also. This also, this the third equation also, greater than or equal to. So this is actually bigger method problem. So which is an application of simplex method. So this just now what we did, Tejaswini, this is actually bigger problem only. I hope you understood the logic. In Excel, when we are using solver, then it doesn't matter to us that the constraints are less than or the constraints are greater than. Here to everything is fine. When you go under solver, we just need to change the constraint and the work is done. So we are least bothered that what kind of inequality sign are we using. So I hope you are clear with this part. So going further in Excel, when we are talking about Excel, going further in Excel, uh, huh, going further in Excel, when you see the Excel, when you're working on Excel, this is what you can see. This is called workbook. You want to open more workbook, you can use control and with control and you can open as many workbook as you want to open. You can see book 2, then you can see book, you can see this book 2, then you can see book 3, you can see book 4, book 5, book 6. You can, by pressing control, and I can open as many workbook as I want. Once I open this workbook, if I want to close them, I can use control W, I can use control W, or I can use alt F4, or I can use alt F4. So by using this alt F4 or control W, you can open as many workbook as you want. Okay. And then the first thing what you should do whenever your workbook is open, the first thing what you should do, you should always try to save the workbook. So the shortcut key for the saving the workbook is alt FA. This is the shortcut key to save the workbook. You can save the workbook by using alt FA. You can use alt FA. So you can use alt FA. So you can use alt FA. So if you use alt FA, you can save the workbook. You can save the workbook. You can do that, or you simply press Control S also. If you use Control S also, yes, because you have not saved this workbook till now. First time, if you ask First time if you do control S, it will ask from you that where you want to save this. Because once your workbook is being saved, okay, in a defined place with a defined name, okay, with a defined type, okay, then you can keep on saving. Auto saving, you can do that control S, that will keep on saving that part. Okay, but first time you have to save this, save as, so you can give a location where you want to save that. And when you give that location, when you have to save that, then you can go to that wherever you want to save this. Then by default, my suggestion for you would be to save this in 97 2003 workbook format. That is my suggestion for you. You can give a name to that, and then you save it. So then when you save it, so then you can see the you can check the property. It will be saved under the property. If you check the property of that workbook, like if you go to right click, go to property, and normal Excel workbook is saved in .xlsx format. But if you save in 97 2003 workbook format, it will get saved as .xls format. So that way it would be good for you that whenever you're working on Excel, and if you save it and you want to open it from any remote location or wherever, if they are not using updated version of window also, then also you can easily open them. So that advantage you can get if you try to save it in 97 2003 workbook format. Again, that depends on how you want to use that workbook. That depends on you. Okay, so first thing, you know that when you're working on an Excel, at the top, what you can see a quick access toolbar. Then you can see tabs. Under tab, you can see groups. Okay, under group, what you see under group. After that, you can see this is the address bar. You can see this is address bar. Like right now, I am in A5. A5 means I'm in A column and fifth row. I go anywhere, you can see address bar will change. It is showing K11. K11 means I'm in K column and 11 row. So you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. You want to go anywhere, you can press Control G. So Control G. If you press Control G, that will show you go to. Okay, Control G. Or under Home, you can find Control G. Under Home, you can find Control G. Find and select. Okay, you can see go to. Okay, and like either you press Control G or you press go to, and go to where you want to go to. So if I say AA 67, so I'll reach AA 67. Okay, so you can press use Control G, and with using Control G you can reach anywhere. And you can see the location wherever I am right now. This is address bar. That location you can get here. From here you can see here wherever I am. Then wherever I am in, if I want to reach the first row, first column, I'll press Control Home. If I press Control Home, if I press Control Home, I'll reach to the first row, first column. That is A1. So wherever you are, Control G, wherever I am, wherever I am. So wherever I am, if I want to reach the first row, first column, Control Home. So if I press Control Home, I'll reach to the first row, first column. So that part you can understand when you see the Excel workbook. When you see the Excel workbook, if you use Control down arrow, you can see the last row. The last row in Excel is 10 lakh 48,576 row. You can see the last row. So in Excel, you have total 10 lakh 48,576 row. If you want to see the last column, you can go to Control right arrow. You can see the last column is XFD, and the last cell is XFD 10 lakh 48,576. This is the last you this is the you can see this is the last cell. The last cell is XFD 10 lakh 48,576. This is the last cell. So in Excel, when we are working in a sheet, we actually work inside a rectangular reference that is called a cell, and the address of the cell you can get from the address bar. This is the last cell in the Excel. The last column is XMD. The last row is 10,48,576. Okay, and if I want to count the number of column, so you can see the number of column. You can see from A to Z. You can see from A to Z. You know, 26 numbers are there. If I after that also there are so many columns are there. After this also you can find so many columns are there. And suppose if I want to count this column, how many columns are there? So what I have to do, I need to be in column one. I need to be in column one. Write something on column one, doesn't matter. Write anything in column one. Write anything on column one. Copy that. Control C. Copy that. Control C. Then Control Shift right arrow. Then you do Control Shift right arrow and then Control V. So Control Shift right arrow, then you did Control V. So if you did that, then you can see at the customize status bar at the down. You can see customize status bar at the down. You can see a number visible that is 16,384. You can see the sum visible 16,384. That highlights the number of column. How many columns are there in Excel? Okay, that number of columns in Excel is 16,384. Okay, so you can see this. So this you can see this. So this one, how the one get printed from first column to the last column. Why? Because what control command do? Control command go from one end to the other end. If you see the control command, what basically the control command basically do for you, if you see the Excel, and if you see in Excel, what basically control command do, control command will go from one end to the other end. You can see I'm using control up arrow, right arrow, down arrow, left arrow, right arrow. So I'm using control command. So what basically control command do? Control command go from one end to the other end. So control command basically navigate you from one end to other end. Okay, now if you see after I13, nothing is written in that 13 row. Nothing is written in the 13 row. So if I press Control right arrow, then I'll reach to the last row because nothing is written. So what control command basically do, it go from one field data to the another field data. If nothing is there, then it will automatically will reach to the last data, last cell. Okay, so that way control command is very helpful for us whenever we are working on Excel. What shift command basically do? Shift command basically help you to select the data. So what basically the shift command do? It help you to select the data. So shift command basically help you to select the data. Control command help you to go from one end to the other end of the data. So that difference you can find between control and the shift command. You can do the application for this. For that you can go to control O, open that control O. Under that, if I go to new, if I under new, if I open something called sales report. So under control O, if you go to sales report, if you go into sales report, what I did, I went to file, I go to new, under new, I search, you can search, you can type here sales report. If your internet is working, if sales report is not visible, you can search here sales report. Okay, so you can search here sales report and then try to open this. So now, like the purpose why I opened this sales report, it's just a dummy set of data where I can find lot of values all together. So that's why I asked you to use this sales report. So if you see the extent of this data, for that simply use control down arrow. If you use control down arrow, here you can see I reach to the last content of the data. Data is there till 278 rows. You can see data is there. So manually, if I select data and all, it would be cumbersome exercise. So it would be cumbersome exercise. So what I did, I use control right arrow. I use control. I use if I use control right arrow, I reach to the last column till where data is there. Control down arrow, I reach to the last. So what I can do if I use control shift right arrow down arrow, everything I have selected. So all the data I have selected. Control shift right arrow down arrow. So or you press control A. So you do anything. You can do that. So here if I control A, I selected everything. Okay. So if you want, I can make a border for this. Okay. Take outside border. Okay. Then all border. I made a border. Control C. Copy this. Suppose I want to paste somewhere else. So control N for new workbook and control V. So if I did control V, here you can see a lot of hash kind of symbol visible. Although data is there, you can see 1170 data is there, but you can see hash kind of symbol. That is happening because the width, the width is not appropriate for the data. So double click here. So you can do that manually. You can do double click here so that width adjustment should be done. So you just at the top you do double click so that width adjustment should be done. So that is the one way. The other way, what you do, you copy that control and then do alt ESW, alt ESW. So and then control V. Okay, even then this is happening. Okay, so but at least this name and all column came proper. So this is the other way you can do this. Okay. So what this column width basically do? So when you copied this, okay, and what you did alt ESW. So what is alt ESW? You go to paste, under paste, you go to paste special, and you can see here column width. So you click on that, press OK, and then I pressed V. So the shortcut key for that was alt ESW. Fine. So you can do that. You can do that part. So you can see the data is there. You can see product. You can see product under like different products are there, and these products you can see these are the product, and these product are consumed by customers. You can see this customer. You can see these are the customers who are using this product. Okay, and different products are there, different customers are there. So and their sales data is given because this is sales report. So on quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, you can find the sales report for this data. Okay, fine. So if you want, you can do the sum of this data also. If you want the sum, you can do the sum of all quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. You can use equal to sum in method. This is a statistical function. Sum, I think everyone understand what do you mean by sum. So equal to sum, open bracket. Okay, then you can manually select the cell C2 comma, then D2 comma, uh, E2 comma F2, because you wanted to do the sum, no? So sum of quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and close the bracket and then do enter. This is the one way you can do the sum. The other way to do the sum is equal to sum, open bracket, and left arrow, go to this data, select this data, shift right arrow, select this data, then close bracket, enter. Then also you'll get the same answer. Or what is the third way to do the sum? Equal to, then alt equal to. If you, no need to do equal to now. But this is not no. So do alt equal. So you do this alt equal to. If you do alt equal to, you can do the sum. So you can do this alt equal to. You can do the sum. So here do alt equal to. or equal to, by default the sum will happen. Once you did one set of data sum, no need to manually do the sum for all the data. Just go to this cell, around the cell, see where you can see the doctor sign coming, double click there. So all the sum will happen for all the cell. Okay everyone, so that part you can do. Or manually what you do, copy this, okay, then left arrow, control down arrow, then right arrow, then control shift up arrow, okay, control V. So the sum will happen for all the data. So manually you don't have to do the sum. So this like sum, or you want to do average, anything, any statistical function you want to use. What is average? Average is nothing but the sum what you get divide by the count. Count means what is the total data you have. So you can do that part. You can do that part. Four data is there, or you can like this, or you can manually you can divide this by four. Okay, or you can use the formula called equal to average. Equal to average, open bracket, select this data, okay, close bracket, enter. Okay, once you did one calculation, double click here. All other calculation will be done for you. So that way, it statistically this become very convenient for you when you are working on Excel. You can do them very easily, and I hope you are getting the logic. Uh, Anyone, any doubt, any question?
Fine. So I hope you this much you easily understand this. Now I don't require them. So I'll simply press them. So Control W. Then don't save that. Don't save it. Control W. I don't want to save this. Then Control W. Right. So you understood this. Now you got this data. You got this data. You can see this, like you have this product, different products. You can see one product is Alice mutton, another product is aniseed syrup, then Boston crab meat. You can see this Camberburn parrot, then Chief Anton Cajun seasoning, then Philo mix. You can see this product Georgia Terino. Different products are there, and you can see different customers are there who are using these products. You can see this different customers. I can zoom this. This you can see zoom in, zoom out. So I can see this customer who are using this product to specifically look for one product, one customer data, something like that. What I can do, I can go to filter to open filter on this set of data. You can use a shortcut key called Alt DFF. The shortcut key of filter is Control Shift L, Control Shift L, or Alt DFF. You can use anything, or you can find filter like if you see, you can see under home. You can see under home. You can see sort and filter. You can see sort and filter. So you can see sort and filter. Okay, you can see the sort and filter. Or if you go under data, also you can see sort is separate here, filter is separate here. But under home, sort and filter were together. Fine. So you can open a filter, and under filter you go click here on product. You can remove this, select all. Suppose I'm looking for only one product. Specifically, I want to do postmortem of this product called Alice Mutton. So I just clicked on Alice Mutton and press OK. So if you see this, now I can see the data of only Alice Mutton. Now you can see, I can simply, I can only see the data of this Alice Mutton. Okay, so if I remove this, put select all. If I'm looking for one specific customer, I can go to customer, remove select all. You can pick how many customer data you want. You just pick them, press OK, and you can see the data of that whatever particular customer data you're looking for, that will be, that became visible to you. Okay, so here if I remove select all, press OK, and that part can be done for you. Otherwise, you can see them in much more better way. You can go to insert and answer under insert. You can click on pivot table, and you to understand when you have lot of data all together under different rows and column, different groupings are there. You to understand or to do research on the data in much more better way. You can use pivot table. So you can directly click on pivot table, or first you convert the data in the form of table. The shortcut key of the table is Control T, and then what you can do, you can click on summarize with pivot table. So if you have converted already the data in the form of table, then you can see here table is like selected already, the data is selected. So where you want this pivot table to place new worksheet, by default it will come. If you click on new existing worksheet, then you have to give a location for that. Okay, and then you can do that. Then if you press OK, you can see the pivot table being coming here. So if you can see this pivot table being coming here. So what you want to analyze under the pivot table, I want to analyze the product. So you can see all the product came. So I want to do analysis on the product. So you can see all the product name become visible here. You can see all the product name got visible here. So for the product, what I want to do, suppose I want to do a research on quarter one data of the product. So you can see quarter one data of each product came. So you can see like quarter one data of each product has came. So you can see them very easily. Now you got the quarter one data of the product. You don't want it sum, you want it maybe average. So you go to the value where sum of Q1 is written, click there, go to value field setting, and under value field setting, you click on average and press OK. So now you can see the average data become visible here. So you can play with this. You can again, I click there, value field setting. I clicked on sum, and then I say okay. So now the sum became visible here. Okay. So under the sum also, if you want, you can put filter here, like the way we did filter. You can do that. Under product also, you're looking for only one or two product, so you can do that also. That filter thing, you can work here very easily on them. So remove select all, tick select all, everything came. So that way it will be helpful for you. So you can press Q1, then tick there, you can click on Q2. So I wanted to analyze. Now I saw the product and now I want to analyze customer. So remove product, now click customer. Now you can see each customer data came. So you can see all the customer data came. So you can check this customer data which has came. So you can see them. So you remove the product and you click on customer. So all the customer data became visible here. So under customer, you want to see the product. So you can see under customer, you can see the product one by one, like each customer, what all product they have consumed. If you want to see that also got visible here. So you can see this customer and this customer ALFKI, the product what he has used. Okay, so aniseed syrup and veggie spread. There's another customer called ANATR. So what product he has used? Camberbent parrot. There's another product and another customer called Anton. What product he used? Alice mutton, Boston crab meat, iPhone coffee, and Luciana hot spice opera, Lavilla Angela, Sastach Alley. So these are the products, and what are the sale of this product Q1, Q2. That also become visible. So like that you can analyze. Now I want to analyze, like I want to analyze under each product customer. So first pick product, then customer. So, so one by one, I want to do analyze only on customer. I want to analyze on product. So you can see under each product, Alice Mutton is a product. So who all customer ate that product? Anton, Burge, Bolid, Bottom, Uggs, Godos, Hung, Pico, Retse, REG, So these are the customer name and the sale. So you can do the analysis the way you want to do. You can do this. Okay, so you can. These are self-explanatory. if you see this, so if you see this, if you go here, so they have made this by product wise. You can see the sum of Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 product wise. This pivot table is there. By product wise, only product is there. Okay, now by product and customer. So under each product, who all are customer. These are all self-explanatory. You can go through them, you can understand them. You can see this plus sign. So means under this product, customers are there. You can see this. You click on plus sign, you can see them. So then you can see by product customer filtered. So you can see this. And here you can see this. So you can, these are all the self-explanatory. You can easily understand them. And this is pivot table. So whenever we are using a pivot table, whenever we are using a pivot table, so basically under pivot table, when we are using, so under pivot table, you see if you want to get a graph, also you can go under insert and you can create a pivot chart. Pivot chart, only the chart will come. So the same thing, the way we did pivot table, like the way we did pivot table. Now I can go to insert and I can click on pivot chart, and under pivot chart, new work, whatever. Now you say product, and under product, if I say Q1, so you can see this graph. This graph came, so line graph came for each. You can see for under product Q1, you can see the graph coming here. So just a pivot chart. So if you want along with table, if you want chart also, that also is possible. So you want to analyze, because many people simply by looking at number they will not understand. So if they get a graph, they can understand in much more better way. So that also you can do this. Okay, you can insert a slicer. So insert a slicer, the product Q1. So you okay. So you can see this. So you can insert, okay, and then insert a slicer here. So product, anything, product or customer. Okay, so you can, okay, so you can see this two slicer, product and customer. So if I click on Alice button, so you can see all Alice button data, aniseed syrup, all aniseed syrup data, Camberben parrot, so all Camberben parrot data, philo mix, all philo mix data. You understand? Customer are out, philo mix are out data came. So no, I don't want this. So I want complete first. Okay, so so here 1 minute. So okay, so everything came okay. So I want this customer A and T. So no, it's coming that one. Let me first. Let me simply select everything. So complete data. Means everything is selected. You can see this. Everything is selected. Now if I click on this. So you can select everything. So you can analyze them. Slicer setting you can do here. So name, you can give a name, caption, ascending order, descending order. Okay, so how you want this slicer to be named. So all that you can do that. Fine. do research on them. So when you get the data, you can do research on them to understand them in much more better way. Clear? You can do that part. So probably when we are working on Excel, basic idea you need to have whenever you are working on Excel. You need to develop a basic idea of when you have lot of data all together, how you can work on those data. So that probably we need to learn gradually when we work on Excel. You know the total dimensions of Excel, how many rows are there, how many columns are there, what is application of control command, shift command, all that. That part you know that. Now suppose like probably if I want to create suppose a mark sheet of a college, suppose mark sheet of PES, okay, PES MCOM department. Suppose I want to create a mark sheet of this. Okay, so if I say I want to create the mark sheet of this, so what I'll do, I'll simply select this data and I'll put merge and center. So everything you can see this. So all became one cell. You click middle, so you can click on this top. You can see this. You can see the positioning of them. I can change their position middle. So by using merge and center. So if I want to remove merge and center, I just go there and I say unmerge cell. That also I can do. Okay, so you can see this now. I can click on wrap test. So you can see everything came in one cell. Okay, or I can use merge and center. Select everything, and merge and center. Okay, so I can use merge and center. 1 minute. Yeah. So if you created this, I can color this the whichever color I want. I can color this. Fine. And if I want to increase the font size, decrease the font size, that also I can do. Fine. So I can do this part. Then what I can do, I can give a serial number. I can give a serial number to the class. So I have around 30 students. So I can write their name 1, 2, 3. So manually I can select them. Okay, select at least write 2 or 3, and then you can drag it. Then you can drag it till how many names you want. Suppose 30. So like this, the number came. Or what is the other way? You just write the one number. You simply write the one number. Okay. And then go to home. Under home, go to fill. Under fill, you go to series. Under series, go to column. If you want click on row, by default row will come. If your row is there, then the number will come horizontally. So step value 1, stop value 30. Press enter. You got the number from 1 to 30 horizontally, but I want this number to vertically. So you can see, copy this. Okay, and you go here, come here, go to paste. Okay, paste shell, and then click on transpose. Okay, so like, okay, fine. If I try from here, so Alt ESC, the shortcut key. So Control Shift right arrow, copy this. Because cut transpose Alt ESC. So you got this. Now I delete this. Control Shift right arrow down, delete. Okay, so just cut this. Control X and up. Control V. You got the serial number. Okay, then I'll put the, okay, so here I can put the name of the student. Here I can put the name of the student. Here I can put the name of the student. So name of student, I can put the name of the student. So we can simply copy this name from my already existing data where the name was written. So yeah, rub sheet, names were there, few names were there. So simply copy this name, okay, and I paste it here. So I got the name. Okay, so I got the name. So once I got the name, now if I want to separate the name and surname, so how to separate the name and surname? So what I can do, suppose if I want to separate the name and surname, so one way to do that is to use flash fill. So if these name of the students are there, if I want to separate their name and surname, I can use flash fill. So what basically flash fill is there. So I just simply go to the first, I copy this, okay, control C, copy this, okay, and I'll wrote here Amit. So one part of work we do, then 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 you select this control C, copy that control V. One set of work you do and rest Excel will do, then you press control E for the flash fill. It will be done. Excel will do everything, control E. Excel will do everything. So your name and surname got separated. Okay, so control E, the shortcut key of flash fill is control E. Or under fill, you can see flash fill. Fine. So this way you can separate them. What is the other way to separate them? The other way to separate them, to you select select the data, okay, and then you go to data. Under data, you go text to column. Okay, under text to column by default delimited will come. Let be delimited. Go to next. By default tab will be ticked. If not ticked, click on tab. Okay, then click on space because the separator is space. Okay, and then you next. Then if you say okay, if you say finish, then Amit will be on this B column and Singh will come on Singh, Patel, Gupta, Kishore, Kishan, Kishore, Sharma, White, all will come on next column. Otherwise, here if you click on this cell, then your name will come on column C and your surname will come on column D. So whichever you want to do, you can do that. So that way you can separate them. So that is the one way you can separate them. Okay, so this is the other way you can separate them. Okay, or what is the other way if you want to separate the name and the column? If I want to separate the name and column, what is the other way you can do that to separate the name and column? Hmm. So you can use this command equal to left. Okay, you can use this command equal to left, mid and right. You can use this command equal to left, mid and right. Okay, so you can use this command left, mid and right. So here I can use this command equal to left. Okay, then click on this cell. Okay, comma, then you can say find. Okay, open bracket, double quote, space, double quote means find what. So what find command basically do? Find command will give you the number. Okay, so where is the space? Okay, so that will give you number 5 means so include like AMIT, so 4 and then like then you have space. So find what space. Okay, so find next, find text. What to find? Find space within the text. What is the text? B7. Okay, within the text B7. So it will give you the value 5. So if you use left command and left B7 5, if you say left B7 5, so what it will give you? Amit space. Okay, so if you say left equal to left, if you say equal to left B7 4, so what it will give you? It will give you Amit. Okay, similarly if I say equal to left, okay, B7 find double quote space double quote comma B7. So what it will do? what it will do, it will what it will do, okay, what it will do, it will give you Amit space, but I want Amit, I don't want space. You put -1, close bracket, enter. You got that. If you don't put -1 here, you don't put -1 here, so you may not find anything difference here, anything significant here, but space is there. If you count, if you do the length of this, if you do the length of this, see 5 is coming, okay, but if you see this, only 4 character is there. So I hope you're getting the logic. Otherwise, if you do -1 and then close bracket, enter, you can see 4 is coming. I hope you can understand this logic. And so LEN basically give the count of this. And here, if you use to get the surname, what I'll do, I'll use right equal to right, then B, what is a B7, right B7, okay, then that is a text, right text. If you use right command, it will ask you text, comma, the number of character, how many character it should do. So it's how many characters should do, length of B7. Length of B7 is what? 5 and then 10. Total length of B7 is 10. Amit Singh. Amit, then space 5 and then Singh. Total 10. 10 minus. 10 minus what? So 10 minus what? So 10 minus find. So find. Then you can say uh, double quote space double quote comma B7. Okay, so if you say length B7 minus find space B7, so what it will do? It will do 10 minus 10 minus 5. It will give you 5. Okay, so but here what you need to understand, but here what part you need to understand, that you have to tell to the Excel that the space what you asking you here, what is space I'm talking about. I'm talking about not the first space. Okay, so I'm talking about the next space. So here what you do, find a space within B7 means Amit Singh, then you put comma. Okay, so here you put comma and here you write find. Okay, find double quote space double quote comma B7. Okay, close bracket, then +1. Okay, and 2 times close bracket, then you do enter. Okay, so here I'm getting an error. So equal to, if I say equal to right, this is the text. Okay, so number of characters, so equal to right, find double quote space double quote comma B7. Okay, fine. So you can see this. This is Gopi Ishan. So if I do this +1, close bracket, enter. Error is coming. So equal to right equal to RIGST right, then B7. Okay, number of character is what? Number of character is here length of B7, minus find double quote space double quote comma B7. So what find will do? Find will give you 5. Okay, so 10 minus 5. Okay, so it should give you right. So it should give you 5. Okay, so close bracket, enter. Yeah. So what basically here the length command is doing, length this minus, if I do find double quote space double quote then B7. So what it will do, it will give you number 5. So right hand side 5. Okay, so if you do this, yeah, so it will give you the after space how many characters there. Probably this command, this what you see right, this we use when we have like name, surname, and mid name all are there. So then we can use this like we have Amit, then I have Kumar, and then if I have Singh. So then to separate the Singh, I can use this because there's two spaces there. I have to find the next space. So right, if I say this text, okay, comma, then if I use length, okay, length of G7, okay, minus find double quote space double quote G7, the command which I used just now, when two names are only there, Amit and Singh. So that why not it will work here. You can see this here. I got Kumar Singh, okay, because it is counting after first space, the remaining character. But now what I want, I don't want after first space. I want the next space. So find double quote space double quote in G7. Okay, find double quote space double quote in G7. Okay, plus one. Next character after that space plus one. So you got the logic. So I don't want first space. I want the second space. So when you use find command, when you're using find, when you're using find, so find will it third thing it will ask you start number. So start number means start from K and then tell me the next space. So if you use this double quote space double quote comma G7 comma then find double quote space double quote comma G7. So if you see this plus one, so it will give you what? It will give you 11. Means where is your next space? It will tell you where is your next space. So AMIT space 5. Then Kumar KUMAR 10 5 5 10, and then space 11th is the space. That is what 11 it is showing you. So this is what we use. Okay. So from length, if I subtract 11 means the total, this is total, this is LEN. If you use G7, so this is 16. So from 16, if I subtract 11, I'll get the 5, means last 5. What is my surname? I hope you're getting the logic, this logic. So, so this way you can separate in name and surname all together. You can separate them. Okay, so if you want these to come in proper grammatical order, so you can use proper left arrow, select everything, enter. So you can see this. They came in proper grammatical order. First letter capital. If you want all moving capital letter, you can use upper. You can use upper. You select them, use upper, enter. You can see all came in capital letter. Okay. And you want all in small letter, you can use lower. You can use lower. So if it's not coming, if it's not coming, copy the formula, go to left, control down arrow, right, control shift up arrow, control V. All will come. Right. Now suppose if I want to delete them, so select everything, delete it. Now if I want to put this proper this is proper grammatical order these are written. So this is a proper grammatical order they are written. I want to paste them here. So what I can do, formula is there. If you simply cut and paste it here, it will show you error. If you paste it here, it will show you error. Okay, so what you do first, if you're cutting from here, if you cut from here, remove the formula. How to remove the formula? Control C. Okay, then Control C, Alt ESV, Alt ESV. Do like that, or you simply Control C, go to Home, then paste value, remove the formula, Control X, okay, and then Control V. So you can see this. So now they're coming in proper order. Now what I can do, I can put the subject name. So the subject name. So here you can see, if you can see after column C, you can see column U means lot of columns are hidden. So if I want to unhide the column, so select the column one before and one after. How to select a column? Control space bar, then shift right arrow. Okay, how to select a row? Uh, Shift space bar. How to select a column? Control space bar. Okay, then you do right click and you can do unhide. You can see unhide. Now here I can put the subjects. Simply let me copy the subject names. So subjects are there. I copy that and I pasted it here. So I got the subject name. So how many subjects did I copy? So how many subject did I copy if I want to see that? So I can manually I can see Control Shift right arrow and I can see the count at the down. Okay, I can see the count at the down, that is 16. That is basically customized status bar. You can do right click here. You can do right click here. You can do right click here. You can see customized status bar, which all statistical function you want to use, you can use it there. Okay, so you can see that. Otherwise, if you want to make a count of them, okay, so you can use here command color count A. Count A, don't use count because count only count the mathematical values. Use count A, open bracket, then you select the subjects. When you select the subject, close bracket, and then you can get the name number of the subject. Then what I want to put the values, like I want to put the values. So I'm just making a dummy mark sheet here. So I'm making a dummy mark sheet here. So the dummy mark sheet, what I am getting here. So I want to make it. I want to make. I want to feed the data. Okay, so I want to feed the data here. So if I want to feed the data here, then probably what data to feed here. So any data, any value from 0 to 100, I can put it here. Any number from 0 to 100. So dummy numbers I want to put here actually in reality. So if I want to put the dummy number here, so what I can do, I can use the command called rand between. I can use this command called rand between. If I write 0, 100, so it will generate a random number between 0 to 100. Okay, and then I can copy this data. Okay, and I can paste it everywhere. So I need to know how many rows and columns are there. I can go there. And now the problem happens when I'm trying to go down. I don't know till how many columns I need to go down. So first thing what I should do, I need to fix the value here, like so that whatever wherever I'm going, the name this name of the student should not get changed. It will remain. It will always be there. So it should not move accordingly. So what I can do, we can fix anything. So I can fix here. So for that you can go to free spans. Shortcut keys or WFF. So you can see where if I'm going right hand side, name is not changing. You can see this name is not changing. So you can see this name is not changing. So so, so you can I simply copy this. I can simply copy this. Control C, and then I can go there right hand side. Okay, and then I can go down. Okay, control V. So this, when I did this, so you can see this. When I have done this, so these all are dummy number. I got the dummy number. So I got the dummy number. So I got the dummy number. So the best thing, the first thing, what should I do? Uh, like remove this dummy number because they will keep changing otherwise. Otherwise, they'll keep changing. So first, I wanted the dummy numbers for simply doing some statistical analysis. I wanted the dummy number. I got the dummy number. The first thing what to do, remove the formula. So how to remove the formula? Control Shift, select everything. Don't do Control A. Do Control Shift, right arrow, down arrow, Control C, then Alt ESV. If you do Alt ESV, the formula will get removed. So now you can see there's no formula. Now you can see there's no formula in the data. You can use this rand between. You can use the rand between command. Okay, you can use the rand between command, or you can use RAND open bracket close bracket. So what RAND basically do? It generates a random number. So what RAND basically do? It will generate a random number between 0 to 100. So, but I don't want it. So it's sorry, RAND, but basically RAND open bracket close bracket do generate a random number between 0 to 1. Okay, but I'm putting a mark sheet, so then it should be from 0 to 100. Okay, so I'm putting a mark sheet, then it should be from 0 to 100. So what I can do here, so this RAND what I used, I simply multiply this with 100. But again, there's a problem that your marks cannot be in decimals, so much decimals. So I can use round. I can use round. So round up, round down. There's a round down. So then round up. So you can see the difference between them whenever you get time. So I can use a round, then open bracket, round to how many digits? 0 digits. Okay, give me only integers. So you just select everything. Okay, then you got this value, select everything, all WFF, free span, copy this. Okay, then you go here, and then you can go down, Control V. Okay, then Control C or ESC, remove the formula. That is the one you can do like this. Fine. So that is the one way you can get the value like the way we are getting here. What is the other way if you want to use? Okay, what is the other way? Use what is the other way? So if you use this command called RAND, if you're using a command called RAND open bracket, close bracket, okay, and then if I copy this, go down, Control V, you got the dummy numbers. Now what you wanted, these dummy numbers, all these dummy numbers, okay, all these dummy numbers you wanted to multiply with 100. Okay, so you wanted this to multiply with 100. So what you do, you select Control C, copy that, and here select everything. Okay, go to Home, under Home, Paste, under Paste, Paste, Spatial, and here click on Multiply. So all these numbers will be multiplied by 100. That is the other way. But again, here you are getting the decimal thing. So decimal part, you have to remove the decimal part. So for decimal part, if you want to remove, you can use round equal to round, and then put comma 0. Control C, Control Shift right arrow, down arrow, Control V, Control C, or ESV. Select everything. Clear everyone? So some subjects, 16 subjects. I have written subject name, around 16 subject name I have written here for these students. Okay, so 16 subjects were there. I wrote for these students. You can see them. Okay, and then I can do all form of statistical analysis on this data. So anything I want to do, I can perform all form statistical analysis. Now, if I want to see, how many got 100 marks, so I want to know how many got 100 marks. So if I want to know, like question number one, if I want to see how many got 100 marks, if I want to see how many got 100 marks, that is my question. Okay, so that is my question, that how many got 100 marks. So for this, I use count. I use count range. Here in range, I'll select everything. Okay, then comma, then under double quote, then that equal to 100. Double quote, close bracket, enter. So there's only one person who got 100. Okay, if I want to see that one person who got 100, so either manually I search or select everything, go to conditional formatting, highlight cells rule equal to 100. Okay, you can see this. So, so you can see this. Okay, so who is the person? Pihu Divedi in the subject history. She got 100 marks. So you can do that. So you can use this command called count if. So you can use this command count if. Okay. So with that you understood. Now you can use this command count if. Now you can see 100, only one person got. Suppose if maybe if you're looking for more than 95, you say 100 to only one person. More than 95 to under double quote, greater than 95. Close double quote, close bracket, enter. So you can say 15%. You want to see them. Who are those people? Select everything. Then conditional formatting, alt HL, then again H, greater than G. Then you write here 95 and you put a color. Which color you want to use? Yellow. All the 15 people who got more than 95, you can see them. So that will be visible under with yellow color. You can see them. Okay. So I hope you're getting the logic. You can see those 15 people like that. These all are self-explanatory. So you can, the way you use count if, like the same way you can use sum if. So similarly, you can use sum if. So it would ask you what is the total sum? What is the total sum of the marks? Okay, more than 95. Okay, so if I say what is the total sum, this is not very logical question, but simply because I wanted to use sum if command, that's why I'm just doing it for you. So equal to sum if, then range is same. Select everything. Control shift right arrow down arrow. Then criteria. What is the criteria? Greater than 95. Okay. So then here if you notice, so some range is optional. It's coming under bracket. So because here I'm using some if, so range and some range here is same only for me. If I use some ifs, so there may be different. So here I just simply close bracket, enter. So all the 15 people who got marks more than 95, this is their sum. Okay, 1 5 1 4 5 6. If I use average if, no, average if will be sum if divided by count if. You can do that. So you can do this average if. Simply if I copy this formula and paste it here, and here in place of sum, if I remove average, if I write average, so I got this, and this is nothing but sum divided by count. You'll get the same value. I hope you're getting the logic. So average, it means what is the average of the marks of the people who got more than 95. It's not so logical, but yeah, simply for your basic understanding, you can do that. So conditional formatting, you can investigate by yourself. You select everything. You select everything. Conditional formatting. Then you highlight cells to less than. Okay, so less than less than 30 who all are failed. Less than 30 with which color you want to show. So red text. So all the people who are failed, then you can see red color. You can see many people are failed. If you want to count them, you can use COUNTIF command. If you really want to count them, COUNTIF, you can use COUNTIF. Then select everything. Okay, and then double quote less than 30. Less than, or if you want less than or equal to 30 also, you can do that. Anything will work. So less than equal to 30, 156. Or if you say less than 30, 151. So 5 people got equal to 30. 5 people got equal to 30. Here 5 people got equal to 30. You can see that. Right. So you can easily understand this. These all are self-explanatory. You can easily do them. It's not something very difficult for you to go through this. You can here, like you can select this data, you go to conditional formatting, then top bottom to top 10 item. So it's like, so suppose I want to investigate Suman Tiwari marks. Okay, suppose I want to investigate Suman Tiwari marks. So the marks, what the Suman Tiwari got. So copy this, then then okay, so I want to investigate Suman Tiwari marks. So I just go to conditional formatting, high top bottom rule, top 10. So you can see Suman Tiwari. So you can say top like marks and all if you want to investigate. You copy this object, you paste it here. So you can see this. You can do postmortem of the marks of Suman Tiwari of 10 marks like that. You can do see that all the top 10 marks are coming with this, what do you call this? These all are highlighted: economics, finance, marketing, geology, botany, history, civics, accountancy, forensic, genetics. You can do this. You can analyze this, select this data, conditional formatting, top 10 item, top 10%, bottom 10 item also if you want, where the which are the bottom 10. This also you can increase or decrease, whatever you want to do. Don't put red color because already you put red color. So you can see bottom, which subject Suman Tiwari got very less marks. You can do that. That all are coming with yellow color. These all are self-explanatory. You can understand them. Okay, so conditional formatting, top bottom rule. You can above average, which subject the person got above average marks, below average marks. Then you can do data bar. So you can do data bar. So color scale, then icon test. All these are self-explanatory. You can easily understand them. So I really request everyone that conditional formatting you can take your own time and you try to understand all component of conditional formatting by yourself, and that way it will be helpful for you. So this much we'll do in this class. So probably so I'll see you all in next class. So this much we'll do. So thank you everyone. This much we have done in this class. I will continue discussion from here in next class. I'll use the same sheet. Okay, everyone. Thank you everyone. See you all in next class. Till then, take care of yourself. God bless you. Take care. Bye.